13 cars will take the start here, of which 8 are brand new in the category. It's Connor Adam who got pole position by 63 hundredths of a second from Michael Scott yesterday. Jack Milligan is in the field alongside Cameron Hill, who is struggling with these cars considering how good he is back in Australia. He goes, these cars are completely different to what we drive back in Australia.
Yeah, so one of the biggest differences is that the tyre that these guys are on over here, very different compound and a very different brand to the one that they run over in Australia. So Cam's just struggling with that a little bit. Cars though, very similar, heavily supported by Toyota New Zealand. They really love their motorsport over here. They back this category and they back the Toyota Racing Series also. Quick note there, Greg Rust, you mentioned the JR Trophy. It's the big one this weekend, hugely emotional feeling I get whenever I hear about that trophy. For me, I did run into to Jace's dad and mum, David and Pauline. They're here this weekend. Last time they were here or at a racetrack was back when Bridie won that JR Trophy. So great to have those guys here this weekend. They are terrific people. Yeah, not a day goes by and we don't think about the great JR. We saw one of your old race jumpers from the Tasman days where you guys were teammates who were driving into town this morning. That's right. Got good longevity out of that. 10 years ago we bought it. Still rocking up to the circuit in it, so great to see. 13 cars line up for this race. Conditions early this morning, very wet around this Pukekohe Park Raceway, and it's still hanging around. When we left to come out to the circuit this morning, very heavy rain in Auckland, but it's just teasing us. It rained heavily overnight. It's going to make conditions very unpredictable here at this super fast Pukekohe Park Raceway. Connor Adams starting from pole position. It's 12 laps around this 2.9 kilometre circuit. Looking forward to it as we get underway for season 2017-18 in the Toyota 86 Racing Championship here in New Zealand, and Connor Adams has got the start here. Scott will have to tuck back into second place, and although they've ironed out those bumps, it's still fairly bumpy as they approach to turn number 1. A lot more even start this time round. We saw in the earlier race with the GTRNZ category, the right-hand side of the grid was quite wet, left-hand side of the grid was very dry, whereas in the last 15 minutes, the circuit has dried out a lot, and that was a ripper start, too wide through turn 1. And the curbs will still be slippery as ever. Just down the back straight, we're on board with Jack Milligan, who we saw in the Australian Toyota 86 Series earlier this year. It's down to turn number 5. They're brave and ambitious on the first lap here. We can hear those tyres working very hard under brakes. Plenty of screeching going on. A lot of pioneering also going on. No warm-up, no run today for these guys, so it's a bit of an adventure for these first couple of laps until they work out just how much grip is out there on this freshly washed circuit overnight. Yeah, basically a brand new circuit, isn't it, compared to yesterday? They sweep through out the Husqvarna hairpin and past this ITM mountain, which the crowd continues to pour in for a massive day here. 200-kilometre race to come in the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship later this afternoon with qualifying to follow. This is Jack Milligan, almost doing a Dylan Golson off the final turn from yesterday. Cameron Hill pushing him really hard down here into turn number 1, the orange and black number 5. A guest appearance along with Golson, who are over here before their final round of the Australian Series on the streets of Newcastle in a few weeks' time. Plenty of attitude through turn 1 on these cars. They look terrific, don't they? A lot of body roll, a lot of body movement as they bump through there. But the tyre grips up really, really well when it lands off that bump. And for me, for effectively some road-going cars, they're able to use the turn 2 curve a lot. I love seeing these cars actually get up onto those 2 wheels. Again, the tyre grip is there for these guys to be able to do it. And it makes the racing exciting. They look good on the road. They were confident right from the start of this race. Nice 3-car scrap going here. Bramall King will start from pole position, the second of the Canvet scholarship entries. And now Golson with nowhere to go. A whole lot of Toyota 86 in front of him, down to the very tight Husqvarna hairpin. Geez, these guys are racing for position 8, 9 and 10. You'd swear this is for the lead. Yes. It is on. Side by side. And usually this won't work, but if it does, it's very exciting to watch. He steps out sideways, does King. He'll pull back in behind. We've got a car going off on the left-hand side. It's Reed Harker, a former race winner, and he's picked up ITM as a sponsor on the front of this car. Geez, I had to take a step back there when he came back onto the circuit. I thought that was going to be massive. Heading towards our commentary box, wasn't it? And now it's liven up the race at the front. It's down the inside goes Jaden Ransley in car 53. Moves up to second place. And poor Michael Scott
is under massive siege here. Milligan will go around the outside. Hill will look for the inside. With the back of that, the car's still carrying the ITM side, and that'll put the engine temperatures up.
Yeah, we saw Todd Kelly with a similar issue at Sandown earlier in the year. A little bit of creative weaving dislodged that sign. We'll see if it lasts on the front of this Toyota for very long.
So 3 laps into a new season, and we're trading panels like it's the final race of the year. They've got another race to come this afternoon with a marble draw, similar to what we used to see in the V8 Utes back in the day. So it doesn't matter where you finish it here, you could be starting towards the back or the middle. As Jack Milligan, evidence of rain, he missed the gear on the exit of the Husqvarna hairpin. He'll drop back a couple of positions, and now 8 cars battling for the front positions here. Great racing.
Connor Adam, he's only got a 1 car length gap there, but it's given him some breathing space. It's so busy from P2 all the way back to P9, as you mentioned. Look at this pack.
Oh no, stand back. They'll go side by side down this extremely fast right-hander. Change of position now into second as Scott goes back up to his qualifying position, but Ransley will have the better line down into the chicane. Gets the job done for now.
A lot of windscreen wipers going on there, which makes me think, is it starting to drizzle a little bit? Sam Wright.
He's found the wall.
Decided to sign the pit straight wall there with the front of his Toyota.
Expensive autograph. Down they go down the back straight. They will throw the yellows here as he's got the car away, and it's crabbing its way down the straight. The Tony Richards Toyota sponsored number 7 as the Vodafone safety car is called. Let's go to pit lane.
It's really weird conditions down here, guys. There was a heavy dump of rain for a little while there, and I've walked out again. I dive for cover, you know what I do, and walked back out. It's gone clear again. So tough conditions out there for all drivers.
Stay out there, Cam.
Yeah, no, I will, Matt. I was going to watch my hair.
No chance of that getting wet. Safety car has been called out, and a 5-second penalty has now been handed to Jaden Ransley. On our screens up here now, here's the replay of Sam Wright getting it wrong on the final turn. And lucky there was no one around him at that point. It almost got away with this until there. Oh, 1 in, 1 out. Ouch.
Yeah, that's a hard hit. We can see just put a lot of toe out on that. Oh, there, and that's a great shot. We can see that rain coming down. So that closes the loop for me on why there were so many cars with the windscreen wipers going and why Harker ended up so far out on the edge of the road. But this was this re-entry I was talking about. Those 3 guys were having a terrific battle, and he was trying to feed himself back in.
He livened it up, didn't he?
Absolutely.
But now the safety car comes out and will stack the field completely with Connor Adam out in front. Jaden Ransley has had 5 seconds added to his race time, so he didn't need that safety car to come out. That's the ITM sign, one of many polystyrene signs that have been cleaned up so far. But the ITM Auckland Super Sprint gets retrieved and put back to safety behind the wall. On board with Jack Milligan now, the Care Vets Scholarship number 17, 2-car outfit where a lucky driver gets nominated. They go into a talent pool of about 12 drivers, and some of New Zealand's finest current drivers and ex-drivers will pick out who's the best. They get to run in a fully funded deal in the Toyota 86 Racing Series. A great initiative.
Great initiative. And one thing we know a lot about Motorsport New Zealand is they put these great programs in place to really fund up-and-coming talent and get them on the racetrack. It's a really great little community that Motorsport has over here in NZ.
It wasn't around 20 years ago for the likes of us.
Sorry to tell you, mate, we don't hold New Zealand passports. Pretty sure we're not.
Even back home. So half race distance, I don't think it'll be too long before the safety car goes back in. Lights are going out now. These laps will count towards the complete distance, time certain point as well. In it comes. We go back to racing. 13 cars, will be 12 now with Sam Wright's car out of business, and Milligan grabs the gear and waits for the green flag to dangle in this breeze. It's not entirely cold outside here today. So we go back to racing. First restart of the season in the Toyota 86 New Zealand Championship. It's the 5th time they've been here at Pukekohe Park. Reid Harker's the only former winner in the category. It's down to turn 1 they go. They don't mess about, they just get straight into it, don't they?
You can just see on that shot of the guys coming across the start-finish line, just really light drizzle. It makes these conditions really tricky from within inside the car because you have the wiper going, you're using the windscreen as we go on board here with Milligan. you see the windscreen and you use the raindrops as a reference to how wet it is. You're also trying to just gauge the colour difference in the circuit. So at the moment, there is no colour difference, which when you're inside that driver's seat suggests that it is wet everywhere.
Comes Scott. He looked for a move down the inside, but the door slammed shut from Jaden Ransley, who's hoping to put a 5-second gap on this group to stay in second position at the end of the race. Windscreen wipers on at the top side of the circuit. We're back on board with Dylan Golson, who runs in 10th position. That's Quinn on the inside as he takes the high line at the Husqvarna hairpin.
That safety car restart has really played into the hands of Connor Adam. He has checked out massively on this opening lap. Good restart, put his head down. Given he's the pioneer in these conditions, normally we see the leader taking it a bit easy, but he's gone the other way.
No.
And he's absolutely put the hammer down.
Absolutely no fear, is there? 2 seconds this after the first flying lap. And the cars arguing over position further back in the field. Quinn and Golson, who's got ahead of Harker now. Oh, really wide. You can't do that. He's going to head towards the grass. And Lucky's got that gap in traffic.
Didn't actually lose any time out of it. Very alternative line through turn 1.
They've made some time up.
Possibly.
Out of the GJ Gardner-Holmes turn and down this long back straight. We came back to Pukekohe Park in 2013. This complex of corners we're coming up to was added in. Some would argue it might have slowed the racing down a bit and not maybe made that hairpin so exciting. I beg to differ. As off the track goes car number 3, the East Pack entry of Scott, will now drop back in behind this group, you'd think, after shortcutting the track. And that's Hill pushing Milligan. There's going to be a big instant here. You just feel it, can't you?
Where do you go? Look where all these cars are going left, they're going right, they're just looking for opportunities anywhere. Back to your point on that turn 5, 6, mate, I 100% agree with you. I think it's opened up passing opportunities. How often do we see guys braking side by side into 5, and the guy on the outside can hang on to it and try and get the job done at 6, and then they run up to the hairpin? For me, that's awesome.
It's 2 more chances.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Through they come, just getting a little bit heavier out of our commentary box window. The rain is. As down the straight we go behind Scott. And into turn number 1, that was Bramwell King. Pole position he'll have for race 3 tomorrow. Race 2 to come up this afternoon, like I said, a marble draw. And King in his first appearance was trying any kind of line to get the job done here.
I can confirm for you, it is raining heavier out there, but it's still dry in this comms box, so this is the place to be for sure.
You're liking this commentary stuff, aren't you? A lot drier. Turn number 1, some great slow-mo shots. It's the 11 going through of Tom Alexander, who will start from pole position, the F5000 race today in that Lola.
Our man down in the pit lane there, Cameron Vanderdungen, he will be running for cover about now, I'd say. Found himself a dry spot in the garage.
He wouldn't have left the garage.
Might be a bit quiet down there.
There's King and Scott for the 2nd time going off the track, and now puts him right to the bottom of this group. Back on board with Golson. 3 wide into the Husqvarna hairpin. Why not? And Scott will be hung out to dry there. So he's back at the tail of this group all of a sudden, from the front to the back.
3 wide and 5 cars nose to tail into that hairpin. I don't know where to look.
No. 13 cars. Can you imagine 26 of them out there right now? Sometimes you don't need quantity to have great racing.
So that rain looks like it's just slowed down a little bit. Although it wasn't heavy, look how shiny this circuit is. That shine coming off it suggests it'll be very, very greasy out there. In terms of sitting in the car and racing, you either want it completely dry or really, really wet, because then you know what you're in for. These conditions are tricky. Those verges will be really, really slippery. But some parts of the circuit will have enough grip and it'll be an adventure every single corner that you arrive at.
Particularly here, because this is the resurface part. This has looked shiny all weekend long. Throw some water on. This is going to be an ice rink if it really starts coming down.
Well, more so down here into turn 5. Look at the difference here. We can see the reflection off the headlights. It's that shiny.
That's Harker down the inside on the 21 machine, the 91 machine, I should say, of Quinn.
And they're going on with it.
This is great.
This is the battles I was talking about before. 5 and 6 provides that opportunity to see guys going too wide, and it's still on.
Cameron Hill slides his way up the Husqvarna hairpin. He runs in 8th position. It's back to the front. Jaden Ransley has only got 2 seconds on Milligan. He might find himself at 3rd. That 5-second time penalty added to the end of his race. As through they come to complete another lap.
What's happened to Connor Adam here? He had a huge lead going on, but Ransley has chased him down. He does have that 5-second penalty hanging over his head.
He needs to get on with this. He needs to get past with time running out. Behind him is Milligan, who's reeled these guys in. He was 2 seconds behind. Now they're stuffing in as they bang door handles out of the GJ Gardner-Holmes turn, and Milligan will be the big winner out of this.
Smart driving from Milligan. He could see that happening. He could see that Ransley looked hungry and that he wanted to get the job done. So Ransley went for a move forward and has lost 2.
Here he comes. So Adam back to 3rd place. Does he know, though, there's a 5-second time penalty added to the 53 car? Does he need to get into this fight?
Connor Adam.
We know the answer, but does he?
Connor Adam, he's just gone from 1st to 3rd. You know what's happening with that car? It looked very fast on the restart.
Here it is from Milligan's perspective. Side by side, there's the bang of door handles, and he read the play, went down the inside, whole head of steam, and put the leader back to 3rd place by the time he got down to turn number 5.
Showed some real smarts there, Jack Milligan. That onboard was terrific. You could hear that he was just a bit earlier on the brake. He knew something was going to happen. You get a sense of that from within the driver's seat. And what he did, the reason he was a little bit earlier on the brake, he was just making sure that if he needed to go to the left, he had an option. And if he needed to go to the right and get on the throttle early, he had that option also. So very well played, Jack Milligan.
2 laps to go here. Greasy conditions in turn number 1. It's the first group of cars going through the shop. We're looking back to 9th, 10th and 11th. Baldwin, Hill and Golson.
Ransley,
and that's Ransley who's now a bit of drama. We just caught the tail end of that, so that 5 seconds is going to put him towards the back of the field. So what's happened to car 53? It's now brought Alexander into it, car number 11. He now moves up into 2nd position.
Just looking for some marks on the car of Connor Adams there to see if him and Ransley had come together at all. Just looks like he's battling. He's got no pace in that car. Was he really high in tyre pressure? And that's why he had some good pace on the safety car restart, but he's getting eaten alive here. Or has he got an issue?
Bramble King slides around the outside now to move up another position. He goes up into 4th from 8th on the grid. This track continues to get wetter as they start the final lap here at Pukekohe Park in race 1 of this year's Toyota 86 New Zealand Championship. It's going to be the attire for the day, I think, what the flag waver was wearing there in the finishing box. So here we go, King on the back of Adam. Milligan ahead, so the Care-Vets cars 1 and 2 in this race. He's got a big gap already, hasn't he? Under 3 seconds as Milligan never won here before at Pukekohe. Sorry, Milligan this year, and off goes Golson. All the hard work for the custom accessories entry has come up donuts. He's at the back of the field. Who's going to win this? Down to turn 5. Here comes King.
That's very deep. Will he pull it up?
He'd be drowning if we're using that term.
It's not looking like it.
He slides his way out. Will he keep the car under control? He'll have to slide back in behind this group, and he does. But guess what? There's 2 more cars lining up for a piece of the action. From 2nd back to 5th in the blink of an eye. His teammate, though, 3 seconds. It's going to be more than that when we get to the finish line of Jack Milligan. As he comes around to the final turn. This is the battle for 2nd and 3rd position. What a drive from car 17. We saw him out in Australia early this year in our Australian Toyota 86 Championship. But Jack Milligan wins race number 1 here in New Zealand today. And that was exciting. That's a good form guide for this season.
You mentioned he'd never had a win here. He does now.
Chalk it up. There's a W in the box. The rest of the field come across the line, and not much separating 4th and 5th there. McDonald ahead of Harker by 1/10 of a second at the finish line.
Not only did Jack win, but given that he only led the race for 3 laps, he had massive amounts of pace in that car and really left the other guys in his wake. Literally in his wet wake.
He did. Nice words. We saw the Golson car there spinning off in the background there, but well done to Jack Milligan, collecting the win by 3.7 seconds. In the end there, back to the pole man, Connor Adam. Behind him was Alexander, McDonald, Harker and King. Chris Quinn got home for 7th, Jordan Baldwin in 8th, Cameron Hill back to 9th, and Jaden Ransley with an additional 5 seconds. He'll drop to the tail of the field in 10th position. Golson and Sam Wright, who found the wall front and rear in the number 7 machine.